This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, head over to bigheadsmedia.com. This week on a new TV Tuners, Kiyoraid and Swanson try jorts.
Swanson, they look really good on you. Oh my god.
It's like I'm wearing nothing at all.
Amazing!
And Stairmaster gets a job at the Amazon warehouse.
Hey, watch out with that forklift! Ah!
All that and more on a new TV Tuners. Hi there, folks, and welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast for the true fanatics. It's a weekly dive in the latest in TV news and reviews. I'm your host, Swanson. With me, as always, is my co-host and nosy neighbor? I guess just like ambivalent neighbor, Stairmaster.
What are you gonna do?
It's a great question. What am I gonna do?
We all know where we're gonna be 10 years from now. In the dirt.
That's depressing. But I guess you're not wrong. And with us, as always, of course, is our other co-host and hapless man-child, who I guess is the owner of a pocket dimension that's a sitcom, Kyorain.
I got me a wife right here.
Yeah?
Congratulations.
What's that like?
I have a bed that looks like a race car.
I don't know, I look at her sometimes, and I go up to wacky hijinks, and it's pretty funny. There's a laugh track.
Yeah, that's how you know it's funny.
She's trapped in here, buddy.
Should this episode have a laugh track?
I mean, maybe in the hands of someone who had more time on their hands.
If we had a team.
Yeah, if there were, like,
Producer.
people... If there were people who did things behind the scenes.
Let's get a man who wears goggles and does editing.
Yeah, let's hire Dr. Robotnik. He does editing, right?
Yeah, we should get like a real insidious editor that makes us say things that are really offensive.
I edited your podcast to be about my empire.
Your podcast is gonna play on all the speakers at Robotnik Land.
Well, hey, that's free advertising right there. Can't beat that.
It'll be like bad advertising because it'll be like in the Sonic Colors game where like the loudspeaker's annoying and Sonic makes fun of it.
And speaking of free advertising, if you want us to get an editor or producer, you should tell your friends about the pod, or leave us a review on iTunes with at least 5 stars.
At least 5 stars.
It's true. Yeah, I feel like it would be a thing where, like, we'd be talking and Sonic would be like, "Whoa, listen to those lame voices."
What's wrong with that one guy? He must be
Why does he
faking
sound
it.
like a dweeb?
There's no way that's real.
Yeah, Kyo's voice is extraordinary.
That guy sounds like he's got a real Big the Cat type, if you know what I mean.
Sonic's just ableist.
How could he not be when he's so powerful? He's so
I guess it's true.
Yeah, Sonic is what they call able-bodied.
Yeah, to the nth degree.
When he looks at regular people, he just sees ants.
That is how the theme song went, right? Sonic, he's got attitude. Sonic, he's able-bodied.
Yeah. Yeah, he sees ants and he wants to crush them all.
I can't wait to step on all these ants. Tails, join me.
And that'll be a pretty dark turn. You think
You're
that's where
all puppets and I've got the strings.
You think that's where the franchise is going next game?
Yes, that's why they're taking so long to announce it.
Sonic Ant Stepping Simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way you can follow us, of course. Another way you can find us, of course, if you want any of your quips, comments, questions, foresights, or otherwise read on the podcast, well, you could do that by sending us an email over at tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com. What's that email, Kioran?
tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. You can be like Gio, who sent us this email. I know, it's a shock. Political commentary?
Uh-oh. Shut him down.
Y'all hear that scathing political commentary by late career Roger Waters?
No.
It's pretty tepid.
No.
He indirectly called Donald Trump a nincompoop. I was driving on a Michigan State road when I heard it. The cherry trees were in bloom. Maybe it was 2017?
No, I did not.
Y'all still doing political bits? Can you do one about Michael Madigan? I need something to listen to while I'm cleaning this concrete. A lot of concrete to clean. A man's mind can wander cleaning that much concrete. Alright, thanks, Gio.
Who's Michael Madigan?
I thought this was going to be about the final cut.
Does he get political on that?
Yes, it's very much like anti the Falkland War and Margaret Thatcher.
Well, yeah. I'm glad that late career Roger Waters at least is on the right side of history. He's not pulling an Eric Clapton.
Well, there's plenty of people who are anti-Trump for the wrong reasons.
I guess it's fair, but yeah.
Who's Michael Madigan?
Yeah, who is Michael Madigan?
I was hoping one of you two would know because I didn't have any.
So
turns out we're political hacks.
So
perhaps he's like a Trump guy.
Usually, at least one of us knows who a name McNamerson is.
Maybe he's a pundit.
Michael Mad. How do you spell that? Madigan.
He's the former Speaker of the Illinois House of Representatives. So really, the only person who could have gotten it is Stairmaster.
You should have known about this.
He probably stole like $5 billion or something if he wants us to talk about him. Or he said the N-word.
I think he recently stepped down, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Probably.
I don't know. Who knows?
That's
our political bit. I don't know. Should we do a political bit right now about this guy? Here, I'll be Michael Madigan. Oh, I'm stepping down.
Let's talk about his pension reduction legislation. He was instrumental in the passage of SB1, a plan that amended the state employee pension plans by drastically reducing the constitutionally protected benefits of Illinois state employees in retirement.
Hey, that sounds like a cool thing to do, guy.
However,
good on you.
The Illinois Supreme Court ultimately found these legislative changes to be unconstitutional.
Whoa!
Hey, that's a victory for the little guy.
So this guy sounds like he's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds bad. So I guess, yes, we're still doing political bits, if that counts as one.
Yeah. Can we talk about what's going to happen in August, by the way, fellas?
Probably some sort of climate disaster.
Are you talking about when Michael Madigan returns to the Illinois House of Representatives?
Yeah, Michael Madigan and our main man, our guy, Donald J. Trump, back in the White House. You know what I'm talking about?
Donnie T.
Yeah. Good old DT.
That's right, you thought I was gone. I'm back again. A lot of people.
Chelsea Clinton will be fired into the sun. I take no pleasure in reporting this.
I've decided I'm going to lock her up.
Okay, imagine this, guys. It's August, let's say August 5th. Okay, just random day in August, and Biden's doing like some kind of talk, and then suddenly he just starts like screaming at the top of his lungs. The sky turns red.
Oh.
And then Biden turns into dust, and then reforms as Donald Trump, and he just continues talking like nothing happened, and he's president.
Oh. I would be very upset because I would not be watching television when that happened. I'd be mad that I only get to see it after the fact.
Yeah, imagine watching it live. It would just be such an event.
That would be the full extent of your being upset, though.
Yeah, at that point, it's like, what are you going to do? Clearly, there's some other magic at work here that I'm not in control of.
You wouldn't be distressed.
We're not in control of regular politics.
You wouldn't be distressed about just reality not being a thing anymore, though.
Oh, reality's still a thing. It's just It's just not what we thought it was in this scenario.
Yeah, it would be a totally different reality. So the reality we thought existed is not a thing.
We're already halfway there, Kyoran, so why not just rip the Band-Aid off?
If we're lucky, it could be like the start of an anime.
Yeah. Only we don't have the superpowers. We're just sitting there watching it happen.
Maybe we could get powers in that situation, though. That's the thing.
I get the superpowers, but I'm like the comedy relief character, the friend of the protagonist.
Yeah, you're the Krillin.
Being too horny.
You're the Krillin, Kyo's the Goku, and I'm the Piccolo.
And Stare inexplicably has a harem.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, just like Krillin.
True.
Anyway, I hope that helped, Gio.
We did not help Gio.
We did a political bit.
Gio needs to help himself.
He's cleaning concrete. We had to go for like a whole other hour at least to fill in concrete time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, our podcast runs long usually, so he's got it covered.
Okay. So,
I bet.
Thanks for the email, Gio.
So wait, what was the concrete for? Is he making like a pool, or is he making like a patio?
He's making concrete.
Yeah, he's cleaning. He's not even making it.
He's cleaning it. It's dirty. He's got to spray it down.
Oh, he's got to.
You ever need to spray down some concrete?
Good times.
Scrub it.
I really need to go become Gio's what do you call it when you learn under somebody? Yeah, disciple, I guess.
Yeah, you're gonna just learn under him.
Apprentice is what I was thinking of.
You're gonna sit under the learning tree that he carved with his own hands.
Yeah, I need to learn some handy tools here. I gotta learn.
It feels good to pressure wash things.
You've done it?
Once or twice.
Oh, that sounds
It's
nice.
Actually, I think we can all agree it does feel good to pressure wash things.
I've never done it, but it sounds #satisfying. #blue pill.
There are a few experiences in the world as satisfying as seeing grime slowly be removed.
It's literally Super Mario Sunshine, but real.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's one of the few magics left in the world.
All right,
you don't have to worry about the platforming.
How much how much do they cost on Amazon? Let's see.
Probably like $70.
Let's see.
Yeah, I imagine they're expensive.
Pressure washer. Let's see. Man, $150. I'm ordering this right now.
Dang.
Let's all order pressure washers.
I have nothing to wash with it, but
let's all just have a big pressure washing party.
Let's have a pressure washer contest where all of our fans can send pictures of their pressure washers to the TV Tuners Twitter.
We need before and after pictures of things that were pressure washed.
Oh yes, send us that, and try to put your feet in the shots as well.
Like their bare feet,
Do not pressure wash your feet.
Like their bare feet, in the aftermath where the clean surface is still wet, Stairmaster.
Yeah.
There will be a begin. Yeah, if you do pressure wash your feet, there will be a before and after, but we do not want to see it.
Dude.
Yeah, that's something you'd post on the dark web or something.
There will be a before and after, but not for you. There will be nothing ever again.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
Are pressure washers that powerful that they would badly injure you?
They're hazardous.
I think they could take skin off if you hit it with the full power.
Yikes!
It depends on the model.
Yeah.
I think.
You gotta get a real beast
definitely
one.
Industrial ones are dangerous like that.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tool Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's edit in the riff from Home Improvement at the end of the theme song. The last 5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned Twitter. Of course, we have a Twitter page. It's full of great content at TV Tuners. But mainly what we use it for, what Stairmaster uses it for, is every week he scours the Twitter space looking for a tweet of the week.
Someone scours the Twitter space.
Oh, you don't do it?
No, he has the intern do it.
Oh, we got more interns back. I thought there was a strike, an out.
College is out, so we got more interns.
Oh yeah, that's true. We've got a nice, gullible, fresh flock of interns.
I get older, and the unpaid labor stays the same.
All right.
So what did the interns scrounge up here, Stair?
All right, this tweet comes from @LewisWBT1. Gordon Ramsay finding out the chef is Bigfoot. Oh, fuck me. The chef's fucking Bigfoot. For fuck's sake.
Okay, that's the best tweet of the week the interns have found.
Not the Mandalorian one?
No, this is better than that.
This is good in a while. This is better than... It's the best one we've had in a long time, I'll be honest. Yeah, that's good. That's good right there.
All right, yeah, that's a tune in on this. I have no quips to make. This is just really funny. That's all I can say.
This is genuinely
not
funny.
taking the low-hanging fruit of having Ramsay say, "This is the best meal I've ever had." Like that one picture with him and Sonic.
Yeah, that's the best meal I could ever have. Yeah, and it's Bigfoot serving it to him.
I don't even think he's not even thinking about the food at this point. He's just scared.
All right, I think I got a joke I can add to this masterpiece. Okay. You remember those commercials where the guys were messing with Squatch?
Sasquatch.
Yeah, we were supposed to buy jerky after watching the commercial, I think.
Yeah, now imagine it's Gordon Ramsay and he's like, I'm going to fucking mess with the Sasquatch.
What about just messing with Gordon Ramsay?
What would he be trying to sell?
But he's selling, like, I don't know, a line of
like pots and
pans that he
Cutlery.
has. Yeah.
Cutlery.
It's a car commercial.
With Gordon Ramsay and Bigfoot.
And Clive Owens.
Local celebrity, Bigfoot. I think Stare's onto something here. The idea of Bigfoot coming into certain kitchens, and Gordon Ramsay just like, oh, piss off, Bigfoot!
Well, Stare has a different idea where he's like terrified that Bigfoot's gonna kill him or something.
No. It's like Gordon Ramsay's doing a thing, and it's like, hey, it's Kraft Punk. And Kraft Punk is there.
Gordon Ramsay's like teaching him how to cook.
No, he just drops some cheese and it ruins the kitchen and the meal.
Oh,
so the new scenario is that it's not Bigfoot at all; it's Kraft Punk.
Just Kraft Punk.
Just imagine. Okay, here's the episode of Kitchen Nightmares. So Gordon Ramsay goes to the restaurant. It seems normal, and he orders several things on the menu, and he gets it all, and it's all just covered in cheese. And he's like, well, this is strange, and he tries to eat it. He's just like, oh, this is just absolutely dreadful. Who cooked this? Let me speak to the chef. And he beats the chef, and it's Kraft Punk, and he just got Kraft Punked.
I thought you were going to say it's a guy with a mouse under his hat. Or a giant mouse.
No.
Oh, yeah. It's a giant Bigfoot with a human under his hat.
That would be delightful. What sort of hat
okay.
It, though?
So yeah, he goes back there, he finds Kraft Punk, and he's like, oh, I've been pranked by Kraft Punk again, fuck. So then next day he does another one, he goes in, everything is just coated in ranch. And he goes back there.
He immediately runs.
It's just
he sprints out of the place, and he looks behind him, and Eric Andre is just chasing him down, wearing his jester getup.
Time for some ranch. Yeah, and then the last one, he goes in, and it seems like a normal restaurant. And he gets his appetizer. It's pretty good, and then he gets a burger. It's just covered with hair.
No. It's a perfectly normal restaurant, and then Hannibal Buress walks up to him and he's like, I'm raising rent.
Okay, it's covered in hair, right? Yeah. And he goes to the back. Who's back there? Oh, fuck me. The chef's fucking Bigfoot.
And then the camera lowers to Gordon Ramsay's holstered firearm, to be continued.
Oh, yeah, like a JoJo to be continued.
Yeah.
Anyway, this tweet kicks ass. This is the best tweet in a long time. Congratulations. With all that out of the way, let's get to the rabble, huh?
Yeah, what's that?
The rabble is a segment here on the show, Kieran, where, we got a lot of stuff we cover on the show. It takes a little bit before we get to our main topic of discussion for the week. So we like to give you a little taste by showing you what people on IMDb and critics on Rotten Tomatoes have to say about the show we watched this week. Kevin can F himself.
That's right.
Okay, what else?
Well, we're going to we're gonna pick some reviews here, share them with the audience, and give you a little sneak peek before you get our main course, our opinions.
Oh, okay, that's what these are. All right, so
this is a rich buffet.
So I think I'm to go last here because the interns are giving me something quite
there are
dense.
A lot of negative reviews.
Yeah, I can't imagine wading through the negative reviews on that. That must have been eye-opening.
Yeah, and they could not choose which one was the best one, so they let you decide, and you couldn't decide either, apparently.
Yeah, they gave me a dossier on negative reviews.
Alright, so I'll start off with a positive review.
Oh?
Alright, this review comes from rphillips_2, who writes, Laugh track. The laugh track is so much obnoxious. Otherwise, a nice watch. 2 out of 10.
Huh. Do we think that... I mean, that is on purpose, obviously. Do you think he was just wondering why there was a laugh track for parts of the show?
I'm wondering why he said it was a nice watch and then gave it 2 out of 10.
Oh yeah, you said this was a positive review, but this is a 2 out of 10?
Yeah.
Nice watch.
So it was a negative review.
No, he said it was a nice watch.
I can do mathematics, and that's 20%. That's an F.
Maybe he said nice watch because he saw the watch that she was going to give Kevin as a gift.
Was there a watch in this episode?
No, I don't think it's ever revealed. I don't think you ever see the watch. She mentions the watch.
Oh, I must have missed that. Anyways, 3 out of 18 people found this helpful. Was this review helpful? Sign in to vote.
It was not helpful.
No. It was not helpful, and no, I will not sign in ever.
All right, Swanson. So you have a thing you do here, right? You go on, you find the critical rotten reviews on rotten.com.
Paid reviews.
Yeah, that's right. And I usually go over the tomato meter and the audience score, so which Kioran loves the most.
Yeah, I want to know if there's a bucket of popcorn.
So, Kioran, this is a certified fresh, 83%. Okay. I thought the certified fresh was higher, but I guess 90. Not. Yeah, it turns out you can get a B, a solid B. I think that might be a B minus even, and you still get the certified fresh.
I think it's a B sharp.
We're doing music.
Yes,
but it's 83% found this enjoyable. Audience score, little less. Still a bucket of popcorn, but 66%.
Oh, that's a bucket of popcorn for 66%?
That's a bucket of popcorn.
Like a full one? Or
yeah,
is
you
it
have to get 50-something,
partially eaten bucket of popcorn.
Yeah, it should be a half-empty bucket of popcorn. It's going to end eventually.
Or there's not enough butter.
Yeah. I don't know how you show that in picture form, but I'm not... that's why I don't Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, yeah, that's labeled not enough butter.
And a guy
or there's that guy that shows up in all of them who's just not enough butter.
No, that's the Onion you're thinking of, the Kelly comics.
Yes.
And the Statue of Liberty crying in the background as well.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty's crying in the background.
And the popcorn is crying.
Yeah.
Popcorn tears.
Alright, I got a short and sweet positive review here from Ann Brody of What She Said. It's a brilliant idea and a spiritual roller coaster. Would you say this was a spiritual roller coaster for you guys?
Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm going to keep it 100% with you folks out here.
As you always do.
I watched the show and I didn't absorb anything from it.
It just hit you like a brick wall.
Yeah, I watched it. I think I understood what happened, but I just was not any type of emotion elicited in my heart and soul.
Yeah,
This is
I don't
definitely
know.
Not spiritual.
It wasn't a spiritual roller coaster. I was by the end of this episode, I was feeling things. I suppose emotion, some sort of emotion, probably uncomfort,
hungry.
I would say Too Many Cooks is a spiritual roller coaster.
Yes,
even if it's sort of in the sense that a DMT trip is a spiritual roller coaster.
But yeah, I guess agreed on the first part, Ann Brody.
Disagreed.
Die.
let's get to his negative review here. This one is from Alexandra Schwartz of New Yorker. Maybe I'm not the right audience for this show, but who is? Kevin Can F Himself dissects a product that its target viewers likely already hold in contempt. I mean, on one hand, yes. On the other, is the real goal here for it to dissect sitcoms? I feel like that's like not really what it's doing.
I feel like it's supposed to make you feel horror.
Yeah. Like, I guess in a way, like, I guess at its like most surface level, it's dissecting sitcoms. But I feel like it's trying to do more than that, maybe. We'll discuss later whether or not it succeeds, but I don't know. I feel like maybe that's a very surface level take from the New Yorker.
Yes.
A magazine of high class.
What's the New Yorker? What's that? Is that the one with the top hat?
I think so.
That's
crazy. You have to wear a top hat to read it.
Well, it looks like you're going to be in trouble, Swanson.
It's true, yeah. Well, you can read a blurb, but you can't read the whole thing if you're not wearing a top hat. They don't allow it.
Are there any requirements for the blurb?
I think if you
No, you can just read a blurb.
I think if you read the whole thing on the podcast, that'd be like copyright infringement.
Yeah, like they would come after me because I'm not wearing a top hat.
They would throw bladed top hats at you.
Mm-hmm.
In the streets?
These have been the rules since the New Yorker was founded in 18 whenever.
Yeah, in Ogre Alley.
Yeah. All right, so you got a negative review, Kieran?
I've got a dossier of negative reviews.
You gonna go through them all?
Yeah. Do you have the fortitude for that?
Oh my god.
I do.
Okay, because Swanson, I mean, look, just tap out when you've had enough, okay?
All right. I feel like it's gonna be like the first one.
All right. So, these links I received don't have. Oh, there they are. Okay, sorry. This review is by John Rokenbrod, and
this one's a good one.
it's a 1 out of 10, and it says, "Oh my god!" It says, "Laugh track to cover bad jokes. I'm out."
Time for me to go watch something wholesome like The Neighborhood.
I couldn't make it more than 3 minutes before I had to stop watching. It was like watching a bad middle school play, but with a laugh track and worse writing. Annie Murphy deserved better material than this piece of garbage.
Yeah, all right.
3 out of 15 found this helpful.
Hey, all right. About the same amount as the positive, quote-unquote positive review.
Yeah, this is reviewed by Tom Mo-43014. And this is also a 1 out of 10. And it says, not funny. I don't like it. It's not funny at all. I didn't grow up watching these type of sitcoms.
What? What does he mean? Like all sitcoms?
These type of sitcoms. 1 out of 11.
I guess this is helpful. This is a specific type of sitcom that is being dissected here, right?
Like the dumb husband
genre.
Yeah, like the Kevin James or like According to Jim type of sitcom.
Isn't there literally a Kevin show this is like basically riffing on?
Yeah, we'll talk about it more, but there was a show called Kevin Can Wait that it's basically lifting the name from.
Eric for Entropy gives this a 1 out of 10. And it says, Meta TV for the flyover states.
Ooh, that sounds like a New Yorker.
Yeah, is this person trying out for the New Yorker? They got their top hat on?
There's so much potential in the concept, yet it's completely...
So much for that job.
Yet it's completely squandered by crap writing and worse acting. It feels like an angsty freshman's final for their media studies final. Here's the hard truths behind the sitcom wife trope. Why should I care about any of these characters? I'm just glad they used those cartoon accents so I know they're working class. 2 out of 7 found this helpful.
Yeah, as we know, Boston doesn't exist.
Here's the truth about these narrative tropes. I don't really care about media.
It turns out media, not for it.
Roger Flores.
Also, Boston is a cartoon land.
Yeah, cartoon accents in Boston.
This one is straight truth.
Roger Flores -41611 gives us a 4 out of 10. And Swanson, if you have enough after this one, don't let me know, okay? Because I don't want this to hurt you.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, Swanson, I'm serious.
I'm ready for this one. Okay. We'll see what happens after.
Okay, like I said, this is a 4 out of 10, and it. No, okay. It says AMC is the problem. One ep at a time. Really?
Hold on. What?
One episode at a time. Really?
AMC ruined this show. They should have let Netflix get it because it would be great to binge watch considering Annie Murphy's great talent. Instead, the network is rolling out slowly a slow-running show. I am bored to death waiting for a week to find out that I might as well wait until all episodes have aired. 3 out of 24 found this helpful.
You know what I call this review? Kevin can't wait.
True.
I love this review. AMC decides to be network? Makes TV?
This is a mentality of an 8-year-old.
These are the same people who got mad when The Boys decided to start releasing episodes weekly, even though it was arguably better, I would say.
I get a lot more enjoyment out of TV when I actually wait for the episodes. It's less unhealthy for me as well, so...
Yeah, and if your show is popular enough, it means that there's like a constant discussion about the show instead of like 2 weeks long discussion and nothing for a year.
Yeah, but it's also really depressing if like the forum thread only gets 3 posts when a new episode comes out and you have to wait another week.
True, yeah. For a show like this, maybe not, but also that's just how that's just how broadcast TV works, buddy.
Yeah, so... let's see.
Do one more, Kyoran. I'll allow one more.
Only one more? Okay. Throbbing forehead vein.
Oh no!
Oh no! Is this the angry video game nerd?
No.
Gives this a 4 out of 10. And it reads, blatant misandry. Watching the pilot for this show is like reading some of the more obnoxious women's forums on Reddit.
Oh. Uh-oh. There we go.
The point seems to be that even if a man is affectionate, faithful, gainfully employed, and not physically abusive, he might still deserve to have a shard of broken glass jammed into his carotid artery. It's as if the writers based their project on a checklist of complaints lifted from women's media and feminist academe, emotional labor, gaslighting, unfair household chore division, internalized misogyny, etc. But in case all that wasn't enough, they threw in financial mismanagement by the eponymous Kevin, which the protagonist didn't catch because she's not good with numbers. Subtext, society has brainwashed her into believing this. So, she didn't even check her and her husband's savings balance for years. A viewer would have to be brainwashed to find this plausible. In addition to its ham-fisted misandry, the show's portrayal of working-class people, their communities, and their aspirations or lack thereof is condescending, if not contemptuous. I give it a few points for formal experimentation and solid performances. Annie Murphy doesn't disappoint, even if the material is lame.
Okay, I want to say something. The point about him saying that the plot with the savings account is unrealistic. I was in the car the other day with my dad, and we were talking about how he was looking for a new job, how he might search for a new job. And he said to me, quote unquote, I really need to figure out how much I make in a year.
Yeah, like, it's not unrealistic that a man who would think that he's better at money and actually turns out he isn't.
Yeah.
It's also not unrealistic that... Yeah, like, it's not this is not an unrealistic scenario. It sounds like someone who has never been in that area, so it's just coming up with something here.
Also, this guy forgets that this lady lives in a literal sitcom.
Yeah, like, I guess they missed the whole concept of the show.
Where he literally burnt all the money on some Homer Simpson-esque scheme involving sports merchandise.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was, hey, Keo, thank you for that. It was gross.
Oh, you're tapping out?
I feel like I need... Huh?
You're tapping out, sponsor?
Yeah, I'm tapping out on that one. That was a good one to end on, because I need to go take a shower.
You don't want to hear about Bud to Mac?
No, we can...
_03?
No, I feel like Throbbing Forehead really got all that needed to be said across here. I also love that I guess what he takes away from this is that Kevin is very affectionate.
He's full of love.
Like when she cuts her hand at the end and he says, I can't wait to see what you make for breakfast.
He like doesn't
very
really
affectionate thing
he doesn't
to say.
seem to know she actually is a human being.
Yeah. Like
yeah.
He does not possess a theory of mind.
Very true. So thanks for that, Throbbing Forehead, and thank you for all of those, Kyorain, that sort of gauntlet. You took the Stairmaster role of reading a lot of reviews at once. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Stairmaster handed me the dossier, so you can kind of blame him for that, but yeah.
You can thank my source.
The interns?
Oh?
They, them, bussy.
Okay.
Alright, I won't.
It's a Watergate reference. I guess.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, like Deep Throat? Is that what you're getting at? Okay, I get it.
I can't believe that guy named himself after a porno.
I think it came after.
Why would his name be Deep Throat then?
I don't know, he's going deep.
He's a real gravelly voice.
Yeah.
No, Deep Throat, 1972 pornographic film.
Oh, he did name himself after a porno.
That's crazy.
What a pervert.
What a sicko.
Yeah. Sickos. Alright, so stay tuned to later in the episode where we'll give you our official TV Tuners take on Kevin Kneff himself. Guaranteed, we'll be talking about the misandry going around on this program.
And not the misogyny.
Nope. Alright. So, is there anything fun you guys watched this week you want to talk about?
I didn't watch nothing.
I watched a very bad film.
Oh?
An Honest Thief from 2020 starring Liam Neeson.
Oh, okay. And he's honest in this?
Yes. He meets a woman, some lady from Scrubs.
Uh-oh.
Katie Walsh. And falls in love, and so he decides to turn himself into the FBI for all these banks he robbed. And here's the first problem. These robberies are boring. All I do is drill a hole in the wall. No throw punching. No explosives. No wind grill.
No inside man.
So he decides to turn himself into the FBI by just calling them and asking for a deal, not even getting a lawyer. And so the agent in charge is busy, so he just sends these two dweebs. And they just ask him some details about his crimes to figure out it's him. And he gives them a location where he has some of the money stored. And guess what? The FBI guys just take the money.
Yeah, that's how they do.
To kill him.
I've got a very particular set of skills. Skills that I'm about to tell you about right now.
So
exactly. He literally calls someone on his cell phone and says, I'm coming for you.
So it was a bad movie?
Yes, it was a very bad movie. Liam Neeson is too old to be punching people.
It's weird that Liam Neeson has taken over as the B-movie action actor.
Yeah. Who was it before him? What'd you say?
Jason Statham.
No, Jason Statham was way better. Still good at it, though.
No, yeah, I'm not saying... I mean, B-movie actor... There are good B-movie actors. Like, there was a time where, so Stallone and...
Oh, Stallone was
I guess
an
Stallone's not a
A-lister.
B-movie. Yeah, I'm thinking of, like, Jean-Claude Van Damme. He had good movies. So did Steven Seagal.
I think the best B-movie actor is Jerry Seinfeld.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. He is probably the best version of the B-movie actor. He falls in love with a human woman in that movie.
Anyways, the film makes a second sin. The guy that on the FBI who's sort of like in the middle of all this, who can't figure out whether Liam Neeson character is evil or not, is Jai Courtney. Like the Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive. Yeah, so there's nothing there.
That's film poison, is Jai Courtney.
Yeah, he was the guy who played Kyle Reese in Terminator Genisys, Keo.
Who?
Might not exactly. That's what his performance was like.
He's the guy who comes back from the future, Kieran.
He's a white guy.
Did I watch
seen Terminator Genisys, so I don't know.
Yes, I did. I made you watch like the first hour, both of you, and you tapped out.
Oh, I think I did. Yes, that's right, because I stayed for the Arnold fight.
Yeah.
In the first half, and then I tapped out after that.
I had no memory of this at all.
That movie seemed like Dumb City.
Yeah, that's for the best. You're like it's a real Camille Biden situation with you, Keo.
What?
Have you been watching Zeta Gundam?
I'm there. I'm slowly going through it. That's all I gotta say on that matter. Alright, well, let's get to the news then, huh?
Yes.
I guess.
There's been events, and now we're gonna discuss them. You guys like late night talk shows?
No.
Yeah, of course you don't. Who does? Well, James Corden is a late night guy. He's like, imagine Jimmy Fallon in your head.
Oh.
Now imagine if he was British. Yeah, that's about the right way of making James Corden. He's known mostly for carpool karaoke, where he sits in a car with a celebrity and they sing songs, and that's the extent of. Yeah, that's the extent of his whole deal. Apparently, though, a recent segment has gotten him in trouble after an online petition called him out for cultural insensitivity.
Uh-oh. What did he do, Swanson?
There's a segment on his Late Late Show called Spill Your Guts, which involves a celebrity guest who must answer either difficult questions or consume disgusting foods. There's most of these disgusting foods, as it turns out, ended up being dishes traditionally used in Asian cultures.
Okay, so let me guess what happened on this. So, like, the punishment meal is like they brought like a guy out wearing like a cone hat, and he like brings in like a bowl of ramen, and they're just like, oh no.
They got a guy playing the Mandarin.
They put egg in that? Oh.
That's the worst meal I've ever had.
It's more like a bunch of Westerners sneer at like pig blood tofu.
They're just having mapo tofu.
Yeah, or like a 1,000-year-old egg. These are things that are considered delicacies in different Asian cultures, but in the West we're just like gross.
No, the egg is not actually 1,000 years old.
No, that's impossible.
That's impossible.
True.
It's impossible.
Very
it can't happen. God would not allow such a thing.
Swanson is correct.
Now, as most controversies start these days, this started after a TikTok user discussed the culturally insensitive segments, and a Change.org petition actually managed to do something by forcing Corden to change the segment.
Well, yeah, why would you choose meals that people actually eat? And not just like a scorpion or something?
Well, that's the thing. Not only that, this is a British guy talking about bad foods.
Oh, yeah. Your punishment?
Like, stay in your lane, buddy.
Your punishment? Me mom's soup.
Yeah, we're going to have green beans on toast?
You have to eat me mom's mushy peas.
Boiled
you got a bowl of mushy peas? Corden apologized for the segment and said that for the new version of Spill Your Guts, it'll now focus on a fattening diet destroying angle, whatever that means.
So they give you Five Guys hamburger? Is that punishment?
It's not punishment at all. I would rather do that than answer any question.
Jeremy Corbyn, hello. Whatever his name is.
Jeremy Corbyn.
James Corden. I believe Jeremy Corbyn is the ousted member of the Labour Party in the UK.
Yeah, he was too good for that cursed island.
Yeah.
I hope they all sink into the sea.
Whoa.
Do you think that's what people say about James Corden, too? He was too good for that cursed island?
No.
Send him back.
They're like, let's send him to Ulster and hope for the best.
Corden had this to say. He said, we heard about the stories, and the next time we do that bit, we absolutely won't involve or use any of those foods. As we said at the start, our show is a show about joy and light and love. We don't want to make a show to upset anybody.
Now he's gonna bring in like an authentic like spicy meatball or something.
You've got to eat this really spicy meatball. Can you do it?
Mamma mia! You just hear a series of Mario Pain noises.
Whoa!
Oh!
Yeah, and that segment really dovetails when Bowser gets on because he'll eat anything and feel no pain.
Speaking of Bowser, a certain villain is on the loose.
That's one way of putting it, and by which you mean Good Omens being renewed?
Oh.
I think we were talking about William Cosby.
William H. Cosby.
Okay,
William
sure, we can talk about that. Yes, William Cosby the Third has been released from prison after his
actually.
Oh, William Cosby Jr. Has been released from prison.
Finally, vindication.
The trial has been deemed unsuccessful.
Yeah, because he's innocent. He didn't do anything.
That's right. They overturned his conviction.
Because he was innocent. He's going home a free man, ready for...
He was denied a fair trial, Keo Rain.
Wait, what are you saying about Bill Cosby, Keo?
I'm saying Bill Cosby is innocent.
Bill Cosby is
Cover
innocent.
my expenses to Orlando.
No, but really, what kind of nonsense is this, Swanson? Explain this to me, please.
All right. So in 2005, a Montgomery County District Attorney, Bruce Castor Jr. By the way, someone I want to mention was Trump's lawyer in his second impeachment hearing.
Oh, well, that bodes well for him.
Declined to prosecute Cosby in 2005 because he believed that his accuser's account of being drugged and sexually assaulted was unreliable and didn't have enough evidence, even though it only happened a year prior. So that's why Cosby divulged in a civil case that was brought before him that he had given quaaludes to women who he had pursued sexually. Years later, his successor did not uphold the deal that Castor had made, which was that Cosby could reveal those things, I guess, in a civil case. And so the case went forward, and I guess the Pennsylvania Supreme Court decided that Cosby did not have a fair trial because of this.
Oh, they decided that he was already tried.
Yeah. Even though there's no evidence that this promise was ever put into writing, therefore it's not legally binding. Actually.
I don't know if it has to be in writing, but...
I mean, there has to be something there for it to be substantiated, doesn't it? Can't just be words.
Just world.
I guess. I mean, but if the prosecutor confirmed it, I think that would be... I don't know. That's wild, Swanson. How could you do this? Yeah.
It turns out on a technicality.
Apparently, Bruce Castor issued a press release unconditionally promising that Cosby would not be criminally prosecuted.
Oh, all right. Well, that'll do it. Fucking idiot.
Why would a prosecutor
Well, Bruce Castor
do
is probably happy with this outcome.
No, I mean, he's 100% happy with this outcome because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
but
Republicans love Cosby because of the pound cake speech.
Yeah.
So what we're getting at here is basically the prosecutor just decided, like, oh, criminal prosecution? No, let's just, like, I don't know, they can sue him, I guess.
Yeah. So Cosby spent 2 years in jail on a technicality. And now he's a free man once again. Congratulations, all of us.
Well, at least he's like a bone boy at this point.
I wonder what BillCosby.com has to say about this. It has not been updated since his Far From Finished tour.
So yeah, he was right. He was far from finished.
He called it.
Now he's back, and he's coming after the TV Tuners crew for all those things we said about him.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure. It's not like he's got a career to return to.
I used to be his biggest supporter.
Yeah, so Cosby's free, and there's no justice in the world.
No hope. Prepare for death.
Do you think he and O.J. Simpson are going to do a team up?
Yeah, they're going to make a podcast called Double Jeopardy.
I would subscribe to that.
Yeah, they will.
And
Cosby's going to release a book now called If I Did It.
Yeah.
Where he's not saying he did, but he's going to go over what it would be like if he did.
And how good it would feel.
Yeah. And then I guess he's going to get arrested in 2 years for something unrelated.
Like tax evasion or something.
Yeah. All right. What are our final thoughts on this?
I think they should put him back in the jail, personally. Just, I don't know. I don't know how to do it. Just, like, get the lawyers in a room, get them to talk about it, and then put him back in the jail.
Yeah, throw him in jail. Also, in case Stairmaster was wondering, I'm pretty sure the reason this happened was because he was denied parole in May, so his lawyers probably had to find some other reason to get this to get together.
Yeah. Well, maybe he might have gotten parole if Trump had won the election. I don't know. Who's in charge of parole? The warden?
I think it's the judge who's sentenced, right?
Yeah. Those are are they elected in Pennsylvania?
They're appointed, I believe.
I really doubt.
Oh, no, they're elected. Sorry.
I really doubt that Trump winning would have changed the result of this.
I'm really clutching at straws.
Especially in a place like where Cosby was tried in Philadelphia.
Born and raised.
That's where he was tried. Alright, well, I got one last news item here, and listen, compared to the other two, it's not as juicy, but it is something that makes me scratch my head a little bit.
Okay.
Amazon has recently announced that Good Omens, a former episode of the pod, is being inexplicably renewed for a second season. Now, if you guys don't remember, Good Omens was the show where the Doctor Who guy and the guy from Prodigal Son are an angel and a demon, and they're like solving the end of the world.
Yeah, the Antichrist got misplaced as a baby.
Yeah. And
yeah,
so go find him.
Was the story not ended at the end of the show?
Oh, no, it ended. They had the whole first book covered, and first and only book, by the way. Only book. Yeah, it was based off of a book by writers Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. The Gaiman states numerous times in this press release for the second season that there was plans for a sequel, but never came about because Pratchett did die a few years ago. Well, I guess over a decade at this point.
Of Joe Biden-esque illnesses, brain illnesses.
Yeah, oldness. And yeah, I mean, I guess sequel ideas are enough to fill out a second season of these actors being quirky, and they already solved the end of the world, though. Like, what do you do after that?
You solve the problems in the world, I guess?
I guess, but is that really for a demon and an angel to do?
Yes.
Gotta get back together with his ex-wife.
who is a seraph.
They've got to
is an eldritch being.
They've got to successfully grow the world's biggest pumpkin.
Well, that'd be fun.
Oh, I would watch 6 episodes of that.
Me too.
Anyway, there's no cluing in what exactly it'll entail, but I guess I'll probably watch it, but like, I don't know. It's not like there's not a whole lot to go on here. It just sounds like they wanted some of that good dosh. They wanted some of that good omens money.
Talking about that green?
They want some of that green omens.
That Chuck E. Cheese, Swanson?
That's right. That Charles Entertainment cheese.
They're on that Sigma grind set.
Correct. But I guess I'll give it a tentative wait and see, a tune in.
I don't know about this, Swanson.
I don't know. It's always possible that I'll watch the trailer and I'll be like, bleh.
You'll just go right to bed.
Yeah. Or I'll watch the trailer and I'll be like, and then go right to bed.
Yes. Well, I'm going right to bed after we record this.
Yeah, that seems about normal for you. All right. Well, that is the news. So without further ado, let's move forward in our... it's time for us to talk about the show we watched this week.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Kevin Can F Himself follows Allison, a woman who is the sitcom wife of the man-child Kevin McRoberts. She soon breaks television convention by escaping her confines and taking the lead in her own life. Can Kevin fuck you, or will you fuck Kevin?
Ooh, which one's good?
Yeah,
That's
Swanson,
a great question.
I don't like the idea of you assigning valid quality to the top and bottom dichotomy. They're both equally important in the sexual ecosystem.
For this, I meant more that, like, he's gonna fuck you over.
Did Kevin fuck you raw, or are you protected?
I don't want Kevin in my household at all.
But you would want him to wear a condom.
I mean...
Well,
if it came down to it.
Okay, so there's a reason I wouldn't want Kevin near me, and that's because he seems to have some sort of sitcom warping powers.
That specifically targets his wife, it seems like.
It targets everyone in his vicinity, it seems like, right?
Yeah, but specifically, like, a bunch of bad stuff happens to the wife.
Oh, yeah. True. But, when he is in a room, it is sitcom time, and then when he leaves, it's his normal life. With some slightly sitcom antics.
It's like Netflix Marvel lighting when he's not there.
Yeah, it's true. It's dismal. But, I don't know. This seems like, this is my theory here. My totally serious theory is that Kevin has some sort of reality-bending powers.
He must.
And yes, I am aware that this is pretty much WandaVision, if that's the case.
One of the negative reviews I skipped over said that.
I mean, it's only WandaVision if you are ignoring everything about it outside of the basic premise.
Which a lot of those negative reviewers seem to do.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Okay, so I'll say it up front. I think this is it's essentially a more focused version of WandaVision. In basic premise, I mean. Not in any of the execution, because it's way different.
To the point, at least, compared to WandaVision.
Yeah.
Especially like a Dragon Ball Z-esque filler episode right off the bat.
Yeah, very true. Also, WandaVision is much more interested in going through, different eras of TV. This is firmly planted in one specific era and genre.
You think they're going to do, superhero battles in the last couple episodes of this?
Maybe.
It's possible, yeah, she and Kevin battle it out and they're flying in the sky.
There might be an elaborate martial arts fight, like the end of the raid.
That would be cool.
They should fight in the wasteland with the plateaus. Kick each other through mountains and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin's like, I've reached my full power.
Man, that would be really exciting.
You hear a laugh track emanating throughout the entirety of the plane.
Now that I think about it, King Kai is kind of like a sitcom character.
Yeah, there's a lot of Dragon Ball Z characters who are essentially sitcom characters.
Oh god.
Like Goku himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goku is a sitcom character actually. He's kind of a Kevin.
Yeah, he's a dumb husband.
Yeah. When you think about it, Goku is kind of a Kevin to Chi-Chi.
Yeah,
Not even kind of.
He's vastly more powerful. He's a goofball.
Yeah.
He is up to antics.
Always getting into wacky scenarios. And never accounts for our feelings. But we love him anyway.
Yeah. And he
just
probably
like
goes
Kevin.
down. He probably goes down, unlike Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin definitely does not. He's full DJ Khaled. Refuses. So yes.
He's
so
Batman.
Go through this a little bit. Yeah, he's well. There's a difference. Batman cannot. He's legally obligated to not.
Well, he does not. Because he's a hero.
Kevin is Batman and Goku is Superman.
Oh, okay. But wait, are you saying that means Superman? Superman is a hero, though. So
not anymore.
All right.
He goes down and he can taste it twice as much as a normal human being.
Only
so
twice.
10,000 times. He has 10,000 times as many taste buds. So when he goes down, it's like the greatest sacrifice anyone's ever made.
The Christ metaphors are really piling up here.
He looks at Lois Lane like confidently and says, "I'm going down," and she's like, "Don't." And he says, "I must." Yeah, he plays the Terminator 2 music.
And like the light shines on him and his shadow is a crucifix.
Yeah. Hey, Zach, if you're listening, we got a new...
Those movies do imply he fucks, unlike Marvel films.
It's true, actually.
And
that is
there's a scene of him crawling into a bathtub with Lois Lane.
There is that is at least one positive you can give to the Zack Snyder joints. All right, so to get into the nitty gritty of this show here. Mm-hmm. So basically the main conceit here is that when Kevin is in the scene, we are in a multi-camera sitcom, like your typical laugh track sitcom.
I thought they did a good job of faking it. Like, this felt like a really obnoxious TV show.
It seems like something that would I've actually watched on the actual television.
This feels like something from CBS that we would watch. Which is appropriate because, again, it's based off of a show that Kevin James had on CBS.
It was so good, I felt the instinctive urge to just turn away.
Yeah.
To tab out and look at something else.
That was something else I wrote in my notes, which is that they have better hacky sitcom writing than the regular hacky sitcom writers.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like a generic sitcom from like the mid 2000s. So to do some explaining, I guess, about Kevin Can Wait. I think we've discussed it before on the pod, but I'll bring it up again for the listeners' sake.
Well, you say the mid-aughts, but has the sitcom really changed that much? We've watched The Neighborhood, and we've watched King of Queens for the Sandler cast.
We watched The Big Show,
and we watched Night Court.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those all seem kind of very similar.
Big Show is very similar, and that is like recent. Yeah.
I think the biggest change to the sitcom genre was Friends making its cast kind of fuckable. And
sitcoms are also not all this laugh track multicam thing. There are single camera sitcoms that are all like Community.
Yeah, like Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, like there's stuff like that are normal. Like that's your like hip version of a sitcom.
Well, this is a wasteland of a genre, the multicam setup, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't like it. There was a time where it made sense for this to be a thing, and it's not anymore.
The closest it got to greatness was like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Cheers. Or
yes.
Was it Frasier multicam?
Frasier, Seinfeld were both multicam.
Oh, I guess Seinfeld would be the peak then.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Because, about there. So Kevin Can Wait was a show starring Kevin James, and it got heavily criticized because at the end of the first season, they decided to kill off... at the beginning of the second season, they decided to kill off the wife character so he could hang out with the wife from King of Queens, his previous sitcom.
Yeah, she got hit by a t-shirt cannon and fell off the top story of a stadium. Very
Pretty
sad.
much. And even in later episodes, they joke about her death.
Well, that's funny.
Oh, I respect that at least.
That's like, it's just bizarre. So this was the inspiration behind the idea of Kevin can fuck himself. So the conceit here, in terms of how they do this, is that whenever Kevin is not there, the color desaturates, and we get a single camera setup where we're following a more contemporary television sort of.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this too. They do this style better than WandaVision did. Like the switch between because in later episodes of WandaVision, they do a switch between like the sitcom and the real world. They do it better in this. Which I think that's not saying a whole lot, maybe, but.
Yeah, it's not just that the camera changes also. It's like also literally everything changes, including the physicality and the acting too. Like,
yeah.
It's no longer like this kind of robotic, like almost choreographed conversation they're having. It's like full of like stumbling and mistakes being made and stuff like that too.
Yeah. And a thing I noticed when going through this episode is that she still goes through like sitcom scenarios in the real world. So like she can't escape the sitcom.
But it's like real world consequences.
Yeah, like she hits a guy in the face when she's talking to him, and the guy's just like exasperated and doesn't want to talk anymore. Or like she goes and has like an awkward conversation, or she goes with like donut on her mouth to a makeup place and they make fun of her. Like,
or her drug dealer does not listen to her story.
Yeah, these antics are not funny. It's not funny. I didn't laugh.
Oh, well, I don't know if they're supposed to be funny. Is the thing. I guess there's like a certain comedy to them.
I think it's funny after the fact.
I'm channeling my IMDb reviewer here, guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's cringe comedy, Kieran, you see.
No, it's just cringe and then later comedy.
I guess that's true. Is that a new form? Because you have the cringe comedy where you're supposed to be laughing at how awkward the situation is, and then there's the cringe later comedy.
No, this is what Alfred Hitchcock would call icebox comedy, where you're at the icebox later that night and it just strikes you how funny that was, and you chuckle.
It's true. It did. Not so. I think there's some growing pains in this pilot.
Yeah,
because the first couple scenes in the real world don't hit me, but then later, I think it starts to click.
Yeah. Later scenes feel more like Better Call Saul, a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, the later scenes start to show me the potential that the show could have to be like a thing that is interesting and fun. Mm-hmm. Because for a lot of the first half of this episode, it does feel like we're just, hey, this is the idea, and we're just gonna run with this idea.
I want to see more of Kevin's antics. Kevin is a delight to watch on the screen. I want to see what he's up to.
Yeah, you liked when he decided to make his anniversary all about him.
I can't wait. I really hope we get to see Kevin from like the desaturated perspective.
I don't think he is ever in the desaturated perspective.
He's not capable of being in it. It's like his life essence just bleeds
I wonder
out.
I wonder if it's going to be like a real material thing, the differing realities, or it's going to be a psychological thing.
Yeah, I think that was the most interesting thing they did with this, which is because at first you're thinking, all right, so she's going to be the only one, but then it reveals that the next door neighbor's wife is in the same boat. I want to see it expand out to other characters too. Like, I want to see what his best friend neighbor is like outside of his presence.
Oh no! Oh, that's gonna be rough if they. Oh.
Yeah, like he's just a sad alcoholic.
Most characters in this show seem on board with his antics, which
the
is
neighbor's friend seems like he's deeply mentally unwell.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though, Kieran. Even the wife would seem, if slightly disagreeable, on board with his antics if it wasn't for the scenes where she's alone.
And also the parts where she gets water splashed in her face.
Yeah.
And her left furniture broken.
That was the saddest part.
Yeah.
That whole scene, if it was just a straight sitcom, you would laugh. Or I guess just stare blankly at the screen.
yeah, stare blankly, check my phone.
But because we have established that she really cares about that table, it's like the only thing in the house she cares about. It breaking is actually like very tragic despite the laughter going on. It's good. It's good writing.
Yeah, I want to see what else Kevin comes up with. He's a wacky guy.
Yeah, he's doing a Tom Brady lookalike contest or something.
That's delightful. I want to see what else he cooks up, Swanson.
I can't wait for him to become an astronaut.
I'm sure that they're saving that for season 2. Yeah, so the long and short of it is that she goes through regular life and tries to sort of find some semblance of meaning. She sees an ad for a new house, and she tries to convince Kevin that this is what she wants. And Kevin seems like he's going to go along with it, but we all know it's not going to happen.
And it doesn't. Trouble remembering half the time.
Yeah, very, very true. And yeah, I guess she has a job where she works at a liquor store with. Is this like it's like some relative of hers? I think
she's a high school friend.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
she mentions her trying to get rid of the accent at like middle school or something.
Yeah, because they're all from Boston. They all have Mark Wahlberg-esque accents.
Boston.
Hey, listen, if I was here, what happened to Kevin, it wouldn't go down like that.
Yeah, but since it's a sitcom, we don't have to worry about anyone saying the N-word.
It's true. Or beating an Asian man half to death.
Well...
we have to worry about that?
They could do that for laughs.
I mean, she does meet her old friend, who is this handsome Asian-American man.
Oh, yeah, and it does seem like he might be a future love interest. Yeah, true. Who knows?
What would happen if a sitcom husband got cucked? Perhaps this show will answer that question.
I want the show to tackle it for me. I want to know. So yeah, they're gonna throw this anniversary party, and then Kevin reveals that his no fun boss is coming to the party. So they come up with a genius solution where his wife, we didn't say her name at all, but her name's Allison. Allison
I forgot.
Allison goes
talking
into
about the actor overwrote my memory of her name.
Oh yeah, she's played by Annie Murphy from a popular show called Schitt's Creek. She does a great job in this, by the way. She's pulling a Bob Odenkirk-esque performance here, just carrying this show.
Ooh.
I don't know. I really like the performance.
Throwing down the gauntlet to other people on the show, I guess.
I mean, Bob Odenkirk was just the first thing I thought of. It's just that she is so clearly bringing it at a level that no one else is, I guess, not right now doing, because they're not being fleshed out in the way she is. But she's really fun in this. So he decides what they're going to do is Allison's going to be throwing her own lame party in the living room, and they're going to have the actual cool rager in the dining room. I love how half-baked this is even for an actual sitcom idea. Because when they do it, all they do is write on the door doesn't work, like door is not operational. Like door's broken or something, and
it's really
it doesn't.
When they leave and we're in the reality.
Yeah, like it ends up not working, obviously. I also want to give a shout out to this guy playing the boss. He really brings it in terms of sitcom acting. Yeah. So
he cannot have a conversation with the wife when they're alone.
No, which makes sense. Why would you? You know, how could you? You don't know this person, and this person doesn't know you. And I mean, in the real life scenes and outside of the sitcom world, it does seem as if Allison is like just not very communicative. Her passion's been dulled. So
Kevin
he eventually
is not very aware of this at all.
No, he doesn't seem to care. Right?
Just keeps going about his antics like nothing's happening.
That's the thing, is that I don't even think it's outright malice as far as we can see in this episode. It's that he is oblivious.
Even Homer Simpson was sometimes aware of genre conventions.
Yeah, this is late Simpsons Homer. This is zombie Simpsons Homer. Which I guess is sort of the conceit of these sort of sitcoms. So yeah, she is left alone with the boss, and then she notices another, there's a runner here where cockroaches are running throughout the screen, but only in the non-sitcom world, because there would never be a cockroach in a sitcom.
But she does.
You would talk about it, but you would never show it.
Yes. And they do that.
Yeah, they have like a funny gag. They have a funny sitcom gag about it. So she crushes the cockroach and goes upstairs to change her shoes afterwards. And he leaves into the Voyager. And in sitcom fashion, it turns out he's a pretty cool dude once he finally gets to let loose.
Yeah. His shirt is just missing.
Yeah.
Chugging nonstop.
With 2 Tom Brady lookalikes. Yeah, and then the sitcom, I guess, part ends with him, with her table breaks when they get on top of it and talk about how he's got a promotion, or I guess not even a promotion, right?
He's changing departments. He says he's making a big move and she thinks it's about the house, and then he reveals he's now working on fiber optics instead of television cable.
That's a pretty big upgrade.
Yeah, that is a pretty big upgrade, I guess.
In pay?
No, in
Probably
coolness.
not.
Oh.
Yeah. They get on the table, it breaks. She goes outside in a huff. And this is where we get the first semblance that, like, she's not the only one who has to put on a face. Yeah, so this is where, the next door neighbor's
sister?
wife. Yeah, I think she's related in some way to Kevin, maybe. She's only listed as Patty, and all of Kevin's relatives have his last name. So
there's an old guy there. I'm not sure what his relationship is.
That's his dad.
Oh.
I heard him call him dad once. He's there. I imagine how sad it would be if we get to see his perspective outside of Kevin. That's going to be like the saddest one, right?
Well, yeah. Just being old is misery.
True. So yeah, she talks with Patty for a bit. Patty is sort of condescending at first, but then there's a bit where I guess she never stops being condescending, but she's like, it feels like she's in that mode of this. She's been doing this a lot longer, maybe, or aware of it a lot longer. Mm-hmm. And she's sort of waxing nihilist about this, where she's just like, "Hey, listen, we all know where we're gonna be in 10 years. It's just how life works."
Yikes.
And this is where she reveals that they were never going to move because there's no money in their savings account.
Yes. As mentioned before, he spent it all on fake sports merchandise.
Yeah, which, is a very Homer Simpson-esque game. And also something legitimately that he never told her, so that's like a legitimate gripe. Among all of the other ones that are compiling. She's noticeably upset about that, so she storms off. This is where the real world quote unquote stuff starts to get fun for me, because she's going around. So she goes back to her store, steals a bottle of liquor, knocks over a trash can, decides to go get drugs off of this guy who catcalled her earlier, and is ranting about her husband while snorting cocaine.
Yeah, that's how addicts be.
It's true. That's how it goes. This is how it starts. And the guy is like not paying attention, so she slaps him, and then sort of apologizes, but then doesn't, but then leaves.
Runs away.
Yeah.
And
listen, the guy deserved the bitch slap regardless, but
for a lot of things.
Yeah.
For past crimes.
And she comes back in, and she comes back the morning of, and Patty, which is I think the name of the neighbor, is like, "Hey, Kevin's got a surprise for you."
Where were you?
Yeah, and she's like, "I was around."
And she knows her nose is red.
Yeah. And
was there excuse?
that she was eating jelly donut. So
which
yeah,
would work in a sitcom.
Yeah, exactly. She can only run on sitcom logic. So yeah, she goes into where Kevin is, and Kevin has done a traditional sitcom husband forgiveness ritual, where he does something that would never please anybody in this scenario.
Well, I'd be glad we have a functioning table again, at least.
Yeah, but it absolves him of guilt, so he feels better about it. So this is where things get. I think this is the best part of the episode, is this ending here. So she numerous times throughout the episode, she imagines this idyllic scenario in their new house where she's pouring him a beer and they're just hanging out together in the idyllic 1950s life. And so she imagines a different scenario this time when he asks for a beer, and she imagines breaking the glass and then stabbing him in the neck. And this rocks. This kicks ass, because you've been waiting for this to happen the entire episode. Even if it's a fantasy, you've just been waiting to see this guy.
Patty's cheering in this fantasy.
Yeah,
she's cheering it on.
Delightful Kevin's been murdered. That's we can't have that. I want to see his antics.
Yeah, remember when Homer died in the Simpsons Family Guy crossover?
Yeah. I try to forget about that crossover.
Sorry.
I think we all do, Kyoram. So yeah, he, of course it's a fantasy, but she did break the glass, and there's a moment where it seems like things are going to break in the sitcom, and then like his neighbor friend is just like, "Whoa, look at Hercules!" And it's right back to the sitcom. And even Kevin's like a complete piece of shit right now. He's like, "Oh, why don't you go patch yourself up, babe? And hey, I can't wait to see what you make us for our apology breakfast."
Well, it's not like you can treat this with seriousness.
Yeah.
That would upset the audience.
Well, obviously, but like he laughs about it, and she goes back in, and she thinks, I have to assume anyway, because this is all just facial acting on Annie Murphy's part. She walks out and back into the real world, and she thinks about murdering Kevin and smiles, and that's pretty much where we leave off.
Well, she puts a broken glass handle in her.
Oh yeah, in her pocket for later use. Never know when you need it. Yeah, and that's delightful.
So that's Chekhov's piece of glass now.
That's right,
yes.
Chekhov's glass shard. And yeah, that's Kevin can fuck himself. What are our final thoughts on this show?
It was all right.
Watching this show is like fucking yourself.
Is that good?
I mean, yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you like it when you fuck yourself?
I guess until it's done.
Then you feel remorse.
Yeah, it's much like watching an episode of TV. Yeah. Yeah, this was good. It's probably one of the best things we've seen in a while. I mean, easily, because we haven't tuned in a good bit.
And because our memories, it's Swiss cheese at this point.
Yeah. AMC, you've done it again. You got another hit on your hands, boys.
Well, maybe not hit yet. Give it a few episodes.
You got watchable TV on your hands, boys.
You got watchable TV shows over there in AMC land. Yeah, I would give it a tune in on this. Yes. There's an exciting premise. It seems like they have an understanding of at least where a first season could go. Yes. There's potential problems maybe that could arise later, but for now, I'm on board. I'm gonna watch more of this bad boy.
There's meat on that bone. We could definitely get a stew going.
Yeah, there's definitely enough for a stew going here. The conceit of switching between the sitcom world and the real world is, yeah, it's a little WandaVision-y, but I feel like it obviously has more to say than WandaVision did, because WandaVision wasn't really interested in saying a whole lot. I guess they were exploring grief in that show, but this is more of an actual take on sitcoms.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I'll give it a tune in.
Kia?
Yeah, I'll give it I'll give it a tune in. A light tune in.
The Holy Trinity.
Yeah, it just wasn't clicking for you, Keo. Is that the main thing?
Look, maybe tonight was not my night for watching this, but I was just like kind of, I did not really consume it in its entirety.
We should mention Keo is coming off a 3-week meth bender.
It's true. That does happen. Yeah, it is kind of hard to consume television when you're in that state.
Yeah, 3-week having a job bender.
Oh,
yeah. Could you imagine having a job for 3 weeks?
In this economy? Possible.
All right, so that's a tune in on Kevin Can Fuck Himself. And that's about it for this week's episode of the show. Hey, listen.
If you want to hear us fuck ourselves on audio, you can hit us up at buymeacoffee.com.
That's right. A single coffee gives you a single bonus episode for us to discuss. We're sort of taking a break from those at the time being, as Keo might have alluded to. There's some busy schedules going around, but we'll be coming back soon. Don't you worry. So get those Buy Me a Coffees in for bonus episodes in the future.
Keo is busy donating its kidney to dying children.
Yeah,
both of them.
So far I've donated 5 of my kidneys to dying children.
Yeah. Keo's a kid, what we call a kidney farm.
They keep dying so we can reuse them.
Well, I mean, that's true, but also never mind that I don't have any kidney removal scars on my body. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a mystery that we're going to solve throughout a season-long arc.
I don't think you should solve the mystery, because there's no mystery. Everything's fine.
Well, we'll see if there's a mystery or not. How about that?
If you get any closer to the truth, there's going to be problems, so probably not, right?
Sounds like a mystery.
Okay, I'm getting upset.
Kevin, where's my kidneys?
Oh, that's going to happen at some point, right?
Probably. Oh, what?
So
she's going to have her kidneys missing and she's like on a ticking clock. It's like cranked.
Hey, they have $0 in their savings. He's got to make money somehow. All right, so yeah, that's TV Tuners. That's Buy Me a Coffee /TV Tuners if you want to donate.
Yeah, if you want to hear us talk about masturbation more.
I don't.
Yeah, or
is that what the account's for?
Yeah, I guess you could talk. It could be about anything, but you can make us watch like a Kevin James sitcom.
Shouldn't we get like an OnlyFans for a Kevin James sitcom?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, then we'd be expected to use it on the regular thing.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that to myself.
Oh, that's like a subscriber-based system?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscriber?
I thought you said subscriber for a second.
No, I said subscriber.
Both are valid.
And that'll about do it for this week's episode of the show. Until next week, keep watching. Bye. It's over.
I found them.
Hey folks, it's the TV Tuners Fact of the Week. Did you know that Stairmaster has his own sitcom where he looks at the camera, winks, and then says, "Ain't I a stinker?"
That's right. Ain't I a stinker?